Okay, now it's time to jump into the meat of the project. And I want to show you how you set up an attribute schema using Avenza Pro. What you eventually are going to be doing is walking around your study area. And as you do that, your little blue dot is going to follow you. And then you are going to add probably point data and collect attributes about the point data that you want to. So if you walk around and you lose the cursor, you'll have to click that button right here. See if I go off the point position of the cursor and then hit that little cursor button in the lower left-hand corner. It will bring me right back to that location, and then you can drop a pin. But before you drop the pin, you need to set up the attribute data itself. And you do that by going down to the layer. So I'm going to go down to the layers right here. And you'll see I actually have two layers. And you can add multiple layers if you want to. You just have to make sure that whatever layer you're working on is the active layer. And mine is called attribute example here. I want to go up to that. I want to click and hold it. And that will highlight it and then go to edit. Then we can scroll down to the bottom of this, and you can see you can add new attribute schema. You do that by just hitting this plus symbol right here, and then you can add whatever you want to put in here. And you're supposed to do a number of different types of data. I'm going to put in a string, a number, and then a pick list for you. So the string I'm going to put in is the common name, because I'm going to collect data on trees. And then I'm going to go back, and that should be there now, common name. I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to put the height of the tree. And I could do that as an integer, or I could do it as a real number. I'll put it as a real number. If I go back now, or just hit the enter, it should now have the height there. And I'm going to add one more attribute, and this is going to be a pick list. And I'm going to call this one location. And then I'm going to add to the pick list by going right down here. You see it's a string. You could also make a pick list of numbers if you wanted to. I'm going to put West Campus as one, hit enter. And then I'm going to add to the pick list. I'm going to put East Campus. And I'm going to put North Campus. And now my attributes are all set up. You'll probably want to collect more attributes than that. You also have to have an attribute that shows your GPS accuracy, but I'm not going to do that right now. So now my attribute example is active, and I can go back and collect data. So let's say I've walked someplace over here, and that's where my little blue dot is. I want to make sure that the cursor is on top of the blue dot. I can't right here though because I'm stationary, I'm stuck in my office. But once you get that, you go down and you hit the little pin and you drop the pin. And you can call it what you want to. I'll just call it tree 1. I'm going to change it to green. That's a better symbol for a tree, I think. And then I can scroll down here and I can start adding things. So I go to the common name and I can call it crabapple. Hit enter, and that's in there. I can go to the height, and I can say 20.1 feet, or I'll say 20.2. That's what I hit. And I can go back to the location. Even though I spelled location wrong, you get the idea. I can say West Campus, and it automatically populates that. When I'm done, I hit the check mark box, and I have data collected. You're to collect a big set of data that you'll be able to use in this project and projects in the future. Now I can go to that data by actually clicking right on the map on the icon. You can see I did that, and tree 1 appears. I can then click on that further, and I can go in here and make any modifications if I need to. The one modification you don't want to make, though, is to add new attributes to the data if you've already collected. So let's say, oh, I've forgotten to add the GPS accuracy. If you add the GPS accuracy, you'll end up with a lot of null or blank values in stuff that you've already collected. So try to get the attributes all figured out before you start actively collecting data. It's of course a good idea to go out and practice a little bit with your attribute schema before you actually start collecting the data. But that's what you do. And then once you have collected your data, you can start to export it. And you do that by going again and clicking down on that layer. But then instead of clicking up here, the active one is what's going to be exported. And so you click down here in this hamburger menu, and it asks you, should you export the layer? You click on that, and you should export it both as a KML, and if you click on this, you'll see you should click on it as a CSV as well. So these are the two formats that you need to export the data to that you're ultimately going to give to me. Later on in the course, you'll be exporting shape data, but you don't want to do that right now.